I'm here to tell you. Um, I am here to tell you that, without a doubt, men, I'm proof of it, that men peak later in life. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what. Um, I didn't really hit stride until I was about 26 years old. In college, I was watching my buddies, my peers outlap me, get all kinds of play. And I was sort of like the gay uncle on the side, wall hugging, third wheeling, fifth wheeling, whatever odd wheel you can name. But I was there on the sidelines, kind of just watching, a little frustrated. And, but nevertheless, I was like, well, this is my lot in life. This is what I got. And to be fair, I thought I was a cutie, and that was the funny part, was that the feedback said that that wasn't the case at all. And if it was, I sure wasn't able to capitalize on it for various reasons, I'm assuming. But I got no tail in high school, got nothing at all. I mean, I had some botched attempts at trying to make moves. Mind you, this was a time, 2010 to 2013. Some of you maybe weren't even born, where the dating market wasn't so toxic like it is now. There wasn't a lot of the rules and regulations. The marketplace was a little bit more chaotic, a little more wild. Social media hadn't really hit that hard. Things were slower. Wi-Fi was slower. Life in general was a slower time back then. The pace was a little different. There wasn't even any Me Too. There wasn't that sort of battle of the sexes. It wasn't as clear to me that that's what was going to happen at the time. So not knowing the rules kind of made it easy, right? Because you could kind of just go about things and actually get numbers and actually approach women and actually get on dates. And that was the time, right? And so there was that part, right? But the reality was I was just a goofball. I did not have really much going for me in terms of my social skills were at the level of an autist, right? I had practically zero social skills. I did have charisma, though. I will say that, just naturally. But I had zero social skills. I didn't know how to dress. I didn't know how to carry myself. I didn't have a clear understanding of the rules of engagement. So I didn't have any of that. I didn't have anything to base off of, right? I didn't have a foundation, a solid one to springboard off of. So I didn't have any of those things. That infrastructure was not there. And so I was kind of, I had zero game plan. I didn't know what to do. But I'll tell you what, though, I did improve over time. And the way that I knew that I improved over time was funny. I was looking back and sort of when I did finally, it was about 26 when I did finally start dating. And I noticed that progressively over time, the women started getting cuter. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm either getting really good at this or it's something else. And it was probably a combination of many things. It was many things converging at once. And they were that I got into the gym, so I got in good shape. I started dressing much better than I had previously dressed. I just started taking care of my overall hygiene. And so that helped me out a lot. That got my foot in the door. And then just improved my social skills in general, sharpened myself up, got a lot of practice, fumbled plenty of opportunities and learned from a lot of heartbreak. And so that really did give me the experience that I needed, but it just took me longer. So when I'm 26, 27, 28, like barely getting in the game, dating, having girlfriends, like people had already been through various, long-term relationships, and I had barely gotten in my foot in the door. And nevertheless, look, if you are one of these guys that thinks, man, when's my time going to come? I say this to you. I say that it needs to come when it needs to come. And I think when you've done the work and you get to the point where the work starts to demonstrate and show itself and prove itself worthy of whatever it is that you get, then you're going to think to yourself, well, deservedly so. I've worked hard, so it shouldn't be a surprise to me what comes with it. And look, if you work on yourself, if you develop yourself, if you actualize yourself, if you work on not just your physique, but your mental capabilities cerebrally, if you decide that you want to be a better communicator and learn how to talk to people, all these things converge, and then sure enough, like, the women will be there. They will come. They will watch you build, and then they'll move in, as they say, and you'll have plenty of opportunities. I think dudes that get frustrated with why am I not getting the play that I think I deserve, then they need to ask themselves fundamentally, what is it that you're not doing correctly? And I think a lot of it is that some dudes don't even realize how awkward they are, how creepy they are. They don't improve their style. Their posture sucks. They have nothing interesting or witty to say to the opposite sex. Nothing that really screams sexiness. You don't demand respect. You don't command a room. You don't take up space. These are things that are within your locus of control. You don't have to wait for someone to give you this. And mind you, I mean, this is, you have to also try to not to run the risk of comparing yourself to others, because I think that was one thing that I sort of fell into the trap, was like, well, when's my turn gonna come? Well, when's my time gonna come? Like, put me in, coach. Like, I was tired of being on the sidelines, but the reality was I needed that time to get myself ready, because had it happened too early, I probably would have peaked too early. So I'm glad that it didn't happen when it happened. Like, as much as I was like, hollering and hooting about why it wasn't my time, if everybody around me was, I'm like, well, I'm young like everybody else. Why can't I do it? And if anything, I thought to myself, like, if this is a peak existence for a man, I was doomed. That's what it felt like at the time. You couldn't tell me otherwise. You couldn't tell me I was going to peak. So when those feelings were sort of surfacing, I was kind of like wondering, like, what do I do? And there was nobody to specifically tell me what it was that I needed to do. It just kind of happened by osmosis, like organically. I was like, all right, so I'm in this institution of higher learning. I'm reading tons of books. I'm avidly visiting the library. It was my crack house, and I was consuming a lot of information. So that really did help me. And then I dug into the exercise, and that really did, help me as well. And I started, buying textiles and articles of clothing that I thought would fit my style, as awkward as it were at the time. But I was trying, I was making steps towards getting better. And so if you're a young guy, don't fret. I think if anything, you just got to make sure you do that work. And ultimately, I think especially when you're young and you don't have much material things to sort of bank on, you really have to go super hard on being interesting, intriguing, someone that leaves an indelible mark on someone, right? You leave and people think, what the hell is this guy doing? What's he up to? Who is this man? If you can leave that kind of mark, especially now when everybody's super boring and insipid, you can really do some damage in the dating market. And think beyond that, of course, right? But naturally, I think most guys, when you were young, were like, well, when are we going to get the attention of the opposite sex? It's a natural kind of inclination, right? It's a natural thing to want to have the attention of women, multiple women, if that, And so you're on the right track if you do those things, and it's just a matter of time till all of that gives you what you're looking for. Okay, so I say all that to say, be patient. Your time will come. You just got to make sure you're doing the work, and you wouldn't be surprised when it does come. All right. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one.